Emma thought the betrayal had crushed her, but little did she know, the office game was far from over. Cherry's victory was only the beginning, and now Emma had to fight harder than ever to reclaim what was hers. Emma returned to work the next morning. The memory of Cherry's smug smile burned into her mind. Every corner of BrightCheck Solutions now felt like a battlefield, every whispered conversation a potential threat. Cherry walked in with an air of triumph, greeting colleagues who eagerly congratulated her on the Project Luminary victory. Emma noticed the way people looked at her, some avoiding her gaze, others pretending not to notice the tension. Fred gave her a subtle nod, a silent reassurance that he was still on her side, while Molly lingered nearby, hesitant but supportive. Benson, ever calculating, leaned against a doorway, eyes gleaming as though he had predicted every twist of this office drama. Emma realized quickly that she could not sit back and watch her career be undermined. Cherry's victory was not just personal. It affected the perception of everyone around her. Colleagues began attributing Emma's ideas to Cherry during meetings, sometimes even complimenting Cherry for innovations Emma had painstakingly developed. Each compliment stung like salt in an open wound. The betrayal was more than a project, it was a public humiliation, carefully orchestrated. Emma clenched her fists under her desk. She would not let this stand. Fred approached her quietly, lowering his voice. "Emma, I know you're furious, and rightfully so. But you need to be smart about this. We can't just confront her blindly. You need proof." Molly, standing behind him, nodded. "He's right. If we're careful, we can show management the truth. You just need evidence and strategy." For the first time since the announcement, Emma felt a spark of hope. She wasn't alone, and she could turn this around. That afternoon, she began the painstaking process of gathering proof. She saved every email draft, every timestamp, and every version of her Project Luminary files. Fred discreetly collected metadata from shared drives, while Molly watched Cherry's movements in the office, noting every suspicious behavior. Even small details like who had access to the submission portal and when were logged meticulously. As Emma worked, Cherry grew bolder. She flaunted her success subtly, taking credit for minor suggestions Emma had offered in passing, framing them as her own contributions. Benson whispered tips and advice to Cherry on how to maintain the narrative, advising her on appearances during meetings and subtly discrediting Emma's input without anyone realizing. The office had become a minefield, and Emma navigated it carefully, balancing confrontation with secrecy. One afternoon, as Emma sat at her desk reviewing the project evidence, a shadow fell across her workspace. Daniel, a senior project manager, leaned in with a serious expression. "Emma, I've noticed some irregularities with the Project Luminary submissions. I don't have full proof yet, but I think someone may have submitted work that wasn't entirely theirs. If you have any evidence, I want to see it." Emma's heart leapt. Finally, a chance to bring the truth to light. She handed Daniel the meticulously compiled files, draft versions, timestamps, and email threads. "Everything is here," she said. "I've documented every step, every iteration. This will show who actually did the work." With Daniel quietly reviewing the evidence, Emma felt a new wave of determination. Cherry, confident in her victory, continued her calculated smile and casual charm, unaware that the web she had spun was beginning to unravel. Benson's smirk faded slightly. Even he began to realize that Emma was a threat he could not ignore. Days passed, each one bringing more tension. Emma noticed colleagues whispering, subtle glances exchanged when Cherry walked by, and small mistakes in Cherry's storytelling that Emma could now use to her advantage. The office politics that had seemed impossible to navigate now became a game Emma was determined to master. Fred and Molly quietly supported her, offering advice and encouragement when Cherry wasn't watching. Every step Emma took was deliberate, measured, building toward the day when she could reclaim not just her project, but her reputation. Then came the pivotal meeting. Management gathered in the conference room, and Emma presented her evidence carefully, clearly, and confidently. She laid out timestamps, draft versions, and emails, showing the trail of her work from conception to completion. Cherry tried to interject, weaving half-truths with her charm, but Daniel and Emma countered each point with undeniable evidence. Benson leaned back, silent now, realizing the balance had shifted. The room went quiet as management reviewed the documentation, the air thick with tension and anticipation. As the meeting concluded, Emma knew that the battle was not yet over. She had made significant progress, exposing Cherry's tactics and forcing management to question the earlier award. But she also knew Cherry would not give up easily. The office landscape had shifted into a tense standoff, and Emma understood that she had to stay vigilant and smart for the final confrontation. Sitting back at her desk after the meeting, Emma allowed herself a small sigh of relief. Fred gave her a reassuring nod, Molly smiled softly, and even Daniel offered a quiet word of encouragement. Yet the story was far from finished. Cherry's betrayal had started a chain reaction, and Emma knew the ultimate victory, reclaiming her full career recognition and exposing Cherry completely, was still ahead. If you want to see how Emma finally confronts Cherry, exposes the truth fully, and achieves the success she deserves, stay tuned for part 3, the thrilling conclusion. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because part 3 is where the tension reaches its peak, and you won't want to miss what happens next.